Well, I'm about to give you a quick tour of the ENS safe that I have just been curating. It's challenging matching the number of frames to the collection that you're trying to curate. That's one thing that I've become aware of recently. But let's hop in here and I'll show you just a little bit of what I'm doing. Now, there's two kind of different main categories here, the iHeart prefix, and within that there's some iHeart emojis and some iHeart words, and then there's also some the emojis. So that's kind of the theme here in this space, and these are some what I think to be are some grails. We'll see if the market values them that way. They're difficult to carry, the three characters here. These are three chars. I heart emoji, I heart beer emoji, I heart pizza emoji, I heart headphone emoji, I heart artist emoji, I heart zombie emoji. So just important to be aware. Actually, I think that I heart zombie emoji is probably carries a little. It's not as heavy to carry, but a lot of these others, really are, and especially carrying multiples of them. I heart video game controller emoji. I mean, that's a great one. I heart gaming, and so I have that, and I have it adjacent to I heart gaming. And a lot of these I couldn't match up, if I even wanted to. Like I heart pizza, obviously. So I think somebody grabbed that way before I was interested in the I heart prefix. But yeah, so I also have some destinations. I heart Honolulu, I heart Austin. I think that countries, states, and capital cities are going to go next really quickly. But so I wish that I could, bag them all up with one swift transaction for, a quarter of an ETH or something. But it's just like, you can't have them all. I heart insurance, I heart real estate, I heart video, I heart audio, and this is with the red heart, by the way. It doesn't format ideally here on desktop here on Windows. So I heart sound, and excuse me, I'm just gonna sneeze. Yeah, I'm just having a little cold the last day or two. Nothing too serious. So that's that. Now you've seen some of the iHearts. I mean, I've got probably more than this, but maybe not actually. I mean, this is probably most of them that I have. Um, and then let's look at some of those. We have the devil emoji. I mean, that's terrifying, but it's just so iconic. Somebody's gonna want the identity, and so I'll be happy to let that one go for a little tiny markup for what I paid for it. And that's kind of the idea here on some of these is to let people appreciate them and get them into the right hands. Put them in the find the person who wants the skull. I don't know. I kind of might keep that one. I just love it. The skull. Um, Over here we have the wizard, the scientist, the vampire, and that's probably the artist. Okay, so we've got, yeah, wizard, scientist, vampire, artist, the zombie, the surfer, the farmer, the female artist, and the doctor. Yeah, there's some other thes, definitely there are, but as I mentioned, it's a little difficult to curate the space to appropriately match the environment, the number of frames there. So this is just what I've been doing, creating a little bit of curated space where we can start hosting some auctions in them. Come on in, have everyone jump around. It's not a very large space, which is fine. I want these to be kind of smaller at first. And I don't think we'll start in this room. I mean, this is kind of a high roller room. And you know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of these are pretty easy to carry, and there's other the prefixes that people can register if they're in this for the investment value aspect. But I got a lot of the iconic ones, the wizard. I mean, these are going to be cool. Somebody's going to pay for these at some point. They'll change hands a few times, presumably. And so I don't want to let them go for too cheap because they're easy to carry, and they'll just gain value the longer I hold them. But at the same time, they'll also gain value if they change hands a few times, as soon as people start seeing them. And so you kind of can be almost too diamond-handed if you have a lot of a category that that you really are bullish on. it makes sense to almost give them away at some point, but not really. I mean, obviously giving them away only to the right people, if they're really friends who are going to get more involved, or people who are really influential, have a large following, that makes sense, I guess, and I've done some of that. But I think that, to an extent, just putting some domains out there for like, a couple of multiples of what you paid for it is not, it's nothing to, nothing to feel bad about, because you can use that capital presumably for something similar, or um, to shore up some of your other positions, which is kind of the position I find myself in now, trying to, frantically running around all these grails. How do I save them? How do I keep them all registered? No, my babies. Look at me. Oh no. These ones are fine, There's just a few in here that are at risk, and they're not even at risk. I mean, I've got 2 months to figure it out, but I heart headphones, I heart pizza, I heart beer, just the super grails, that's all. So I'm not worried about those. I'm going to keep those one way or another. But it's going to be expensive, so I got to make some sales. So, daily auctions. Daily auctions is born. This is why daily auctions is born. This is just one room. I mean, I'll bring you into others, or I can show you how to do this yourself. I wanted to kind of also make it more accessible for people. I think it's cool that there are very special spaces, and I have some of them and I like them. But I think it's also nice to show people like what they could do without having to invest a lot, because a lot of people are kind of in that position where it's like, oh, I kind of overextended on some ENS and I need to sell some. Nobody's really buying. What's going on? It's like, all right, well, unless you're holding some digits, like the liquidity is pretty low because discoverability is pretty low. And that will change a little bit with Domain Plug, hopefully. We're really looking forward to that, and some of the new stuff that ENS Vision is rolling out too. It's really exciting. But still going to take time, for these markets to mature. So, because it's going to take a little while, it's good to shore up your positions and really strategize for the long term. Kind of wishing, when you look at some things, costs a lot less to carry the wizard than it does to carry the devil emoji. So it's one of the reasons why I put the devil emoji and the skull emoji, because those are 4-chars. The skull emoji and the devil emoji don't have a Z-widge. There's no zero width joiner there. There's nothing fancy going on. Just a single code point emoji. Whereas, the characters, like the wizard and this scientist and vampire, there's different skin tone variations. These ones are all like the grail yellow ones, like the most, generic and easily identifiable ones. That's kind of what I went for with these, with those. But, there's other options there, just saying. If anybody wanted to get those the blonde surfer or whatever, the female surfer, etc. There's so much out there right now just waiting for people to pick up. And yeah, to that extent, like, just getting the best stuff that is the easiest to carry is a real consideration. But yeah, the skull, I mean, come on, that's just too good. The skull and the devil. I heart pizza, I heart beer, I heart Honolulu, I heart Austin, I heart real estate, I heart insurance, I heart video, I heart audio, I heart sound. I'm feeling good about this room in terms of like the quantity, the quality. The carry cost is a little high on a few of these. That one. Those two are 4-chars. That's a 3-char, and that's a 3-char, 3-char, 3-char. So yeah, there's one other. Where's I Heart Music isn't even in here. Like I Heart music notes, because I mean there's so I've got more. I've got more that I'm carrying, and they are heavy. All right. So anyway, that's enough for this little quick session. I just wanted to pop in and say this is what I'm up to today. I'm experimenting, getting ready for an auction, getting ready to curate a space for an auction, and gonna do my first one. So that'll be tomorrow. So just wanted to kind of get in here, explore and experience a few of the sample spaces and consider if I want to auction within one of these or if I want to go into one of my larger spaces. The consideration is really like they will chug if you have too much going on. So I thought it'd be nice to keep the user experience really light so that people can join more easily on mobile and not have a bunch of bandwidth issues. And I might not even hang everything in the room. Just keep it as nice and lightweight, to the point. Show people this is what you can do right now with your ENS and no extra money. Get this happening. Get to build the culture around this. Encourage people to join and do this. And then I think maybe people will start to understand the value of kind of coming together and doing it, because it's all about the buyers. You need the right buyers in the room. You need the right domains in the room. You can't auction junk to nobody. You have to auction high quality stuff to a group of people, and that is the equation we're trying to facilitate here. All right, signing out.